Welcome into another episode of Tailgate Talk SEC. I am Will Thomas. It is day one of the transfer portal, and just I've been doing that a lot. It's every Twitter notification. I just want to make sure I see what I'm looking at. For this one, by the way, Jack Andrews, tight end for Texas, he is going to the NFL draft. That just came out from Pete Thamel. So there's some news to start the show that I didn't think I was going to have in this one, but transfer portal opened up today, meaning that finally visits can start to be scheduled. You might see some commitments, probably not really that many, at least from the bigger names that people really do care about. But let's just get right into it without wasting any more time. Starting off with the big fish. The big fish in the portal, Cam Coleman, Auburn wide receiver, hitting the portal. So it came up this morning that he was setting up a visit to Texas. He's going to go hang out with the Longhorns for a little bit. That doesn't shock me given how much money Texas can put forward. But the other school that was rumored once he went into the portal was Texas A&M. And they're also working to set up a visit with Cam Coleman once he's done in Austin. So I do think this is going to come down to those two Texas schools for Coleman. Obviously, they both have tons of money to spend. And championship-wise, I think Texas is the right decision. You're going to have Arch there at quarterback. You're going to have a lot of talent around you, which that is true also at A&M in terms of the talent, but I think quarterback play, edge goes to the Longhorns. So if I'm Cam Coleman, the money's not going to be that different between both of those schools. So I'd go Texas if I were him. But we'll see how those visits go. He's going to go see both schools, and you never know what can happen. Aaron Philo, Georgia Tech's quarterback, he's setting up a visit to Florida this weekend to go see John Summerall and the Gators. This was long expected, and this should take shape pretty soon. He was always kind of thought to be on his way to Gainesville because Buster Faulkner, his offensive coordinator from Georgia Tech, is now in Gainesville, so he has that connection there. And Florida was looking for somebody to compete with Tramel Jones for that quarterback one spot. So Aaron Philo, he is visiting Florida upcoming this weekend. I'd imagine that deal, that agreement takes place pretty soon. Khalil Barnes, safety from Clemson, he is visiting Georgia and Ole Miss. He has both those lined up. He's a guy, being on Clemson, kind of forgotten about a little bit this year because of how bad that team was. Khalil Barnes is a ball player. He is a really, really good safety. I think his physicality, his traits, they're going to translate very well to the SEC. So if it is between Georgia and Ole Miss, I think wherever he ends up, it's going to be a very good spot for Khalil Barnes. And the number two guy in the portal, the top two guys in the portal are both named Coleman, but this one is Chaz Coleman, the defensive lineman from Penn State. Ohio State leads right now. Ohio State really has always been the favorite for Coleman since he went into the portal, but Tennessee and LSU are also in the mix. Those two SEC schools, they're looking for presences off the edge. They're not out of it yet. I'd still be a little surprised right now if he doesn't end up at Ohio State, but Tennessee and LSU are two schools to watch for Chaz Coleman. John Tez Williams, the number one ranked corner in the portal coming out of Iowa State, he has 3 visits lined up: USC, Notre Dame, and Florida. He has familial ties to Florida, so we'll see what that leads to. But USC and Notre Dame, obviously two other elite programs for a transfer got to be looking at, so we'll see what John Tez Williams does. Corners in the portal, they're not super easy to find. Jay Crawford's in there from Auburn. He's another elite corner, but the top corner in the portal is a pretty hot commodity. It really is. So whichever of those 3 schools is able to land John Tez Williams, that's a big-time win, and it'll really help you shut down half of the field. Let's get to a little quarterback potential flip-flop swap trade-off here. Sam Leavitt. He is leaving Arizona State, and he's, all of a sudden, today, he's been tied to Kentucky. Then the Wildcats, Will Stein coming in as their head coach. He's coming in, and Leavitt entered the portal with a no-contact tag. So Leavitt has a really good idea of where he's going to go. And with Kentucky sort of just emerging from the smoke all of a sudden, there's reason to be optimistic. So if Will Stein is able to bring Sam Leavitt with him to Lexington in year 1, Kentucky becomes dangerous like that. That was a horrible snap. There we go. Okay. Blooper reel. But Sam Leavitt to Kentucky, there's some smoke. Obviously, also schools like LSU are in on Sam Leavitt. And then the current Kentucky quarterback, Cutter Boley, he is visiting Arizona State this weekend. That should happen pretty fast. That link has been apparent for a while now. So Cutter Boley should go to Arizona State, and you might just see Sam Leavitt come to Kentucky in a quarterback swap between the Wildcats and the Sun Devils. Another quarterback, Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati. He's some people's best quarterback in this transfer portal. He's really, really good. He's slept on being from Cincinnati, but he is an absolute ball player. He has visits set up to Texas Tech and LSU. Both those schools obviously looking for quarterbacks. Both those schools willing to invest in quarterbacks. So I think that'll be a pretty intriguing race for Brendan Sorsby. Raleigh Brown, another Arizona State guy. He was a 1,000-yard rusher this year, over 6 yards per carry. He hit the portal this morning. He is a big-time portal back. In my opinion, he's probably the best running back in the portal right now. So Raleigh Brown, we don't have much intel yet on who's looking at him, where he's looking at, but he is one of the best, if not the best, running backs and just offensive players in the portal this cycle. DJ Lagway, Florida quarterback, moving on. It was originally rumored that it was Baylor, LSU, and Miami. That has now updated to Baylor still, but then Louisville, Missouri, and Virginia. So you're going to see Lagway this year take a step down, which I think is a good idea because mechanically he was off. Health-wise, he wasn't 100%. I think it's a good idea for him because he has all the talent in the world to just take a step back, have a little less pressure on you, some less eyes on you, just really be able to get comfortable again. So I would assume he goes back to Baylor. He's from Texas, that's what I mean. So I would assume it's Baylor, neither the ACC schools, and I'd be a little surprised if Missouri does go with him. So DJ Lagway, probably taking a step back, but I think if he goes to Baylor, he can be very successful. Bo Pribula, Missouri's quarterback, hitting the portal. Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech are the two right now. I would assume he goes to Virginia Tech to play for James Franklin again. Because he did not want to leave Penn State. He did not want to leave James Franklin when he did. But he had to because of the portal calendar. So I think he'll go back, find James Franklin again in Blacksburg and go play for the Hokies. C.J. Baxter, Texas running back, former blue chip guy. He's got a lot of interest from Kentucky. And he has interest in Kentucky. So Will Stein of the Wildcats, man, if you go Sam Leavitt and C.J. Baxter to start off your portal cycle, that is sending a message. Like, that would be a big-time start to the portal for Will Stein. Super quick, just making sure nothing crazy has happened. Nothing crazy has happened. Okay. But anyways, I already talked about Carter Boley. Richard Young, Bama running back. He was sort of their third guy in that backfield, so he didn't get a whole lot of shine, a whole lot of run. He is a very good addition to the portal. I would assume he maybe takes a bit of a step back school-wise just to be able to go prove himself, right? Like show that he can really do this week in and week out. But Richard Young, named to watch down the line. And then Drew Messamaker and Caleb Hawkins, both of the stars coming from North Texas. They are both expected to follow Eric Morris to Oklahoma State. I mean, both those guys, obviously, they're getting attention. They're getting buzz from the biggest schools in the country. Because these guys are... There's some of the most exciting playmakers, period. They're both freshmen. So these two guys have a long career ahead of them. They're both expected to go to Oklahoma State with Eric Morris. You could see that team turning around pretty quickly, I think. Oklahoma State, because you're bringing in this much talent. You're in a Big 12 that is generally pretty open, although it's becoming less so recently. But both those guys at Oklahoma State, I think, is a good match. All right. I talked fast. I talked quick. This transfer portal is moving way faster than I can even comprehend. So I'm just trying to get these videos out. Probably, once, maybe even twice a day, just updating all of the big names, where they're visiting, what schools, where they're looking where they're looking who, what. But if you did enjoy this video and you want some more transfer portal coverage, subscribe, give me a comment. I will be doing this the entire time the window is open. I have been Will Thomas. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Tailgate Talk SEC.